What is going on, everybody? ZyoniK here, and in today's video we have the final day of Open Great League, and with this team, this has by far been the strongest and most consistent team of all time for me. I'm talking every season since the conception of Go Battle League. Bastiodon, Medicham, and Sableye. It is clearly a hefty investment, trust me, I get it, but as someone who has been playing since day one, I have been able to build this team. If you can't build this team just yet, these are North Stars to go after, right? These will always be a part of the meta, but this team is just so good. It's just so good. That's all I gotta say. It's consistent, it's strong. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So let me know what you guys think, and let's go and get right into it. All right, getting into the first battle here, we have Bastiodon on the lead versus Azumarill. So Azumarill is obviously a core breaker for this team, and a lot of you in the comments absolutely love to find one Pokemon that has good matchups against the whole team, and then tell me that this team's terrible because of that one Pokemon. And I say to you, good luck with that, because Bastiodon does not care, and this is a Hydro Pump Azumarill as well. And what you need to understand is that if there is such a Pokemon like this that is so good against this team, the other Pokemon obviously may not be hard counters to it. So what we're going to do here is we win the race to return. Since they did go for Hydro Pump, we win the race to their next charge move, and the return takes out Azumarill. So Azumarill's out of the game. We still kept Bastiodon alive. We have Medicham in the back. We got Sableye here, still pretty healthy. Now they bring in a Venusaur. So Venusaur is kind of tough to deal with because of the Frenzy Plant damage. But what we're going to look to do here is go for double foul play. I'll shield once and then see if I can win the race to the next foul play. They might try to go for the extra fast move, but let's see if we can get it here in time. And we do, which is perfect. So now this is going to be getting 2 shields from my opponent. If they decide to let it go, so be it. But we do get 2 shields. So now I swap into Bastiodon. I put them in a very tough situation where they can't stay into that matchup because they have to throw energy. And then now Bastiodon here against Galarian Stunfisk is going to be able to get it low. And this is going to allow me to come in with Medicham and counter down and then Psychic the Venusaur, right? So we're going to go ahead and come in with Sableye here to force the energy, as I think they might just do a blind throw, and my hope is that it's a blind Earthquake, but it may not be. Now, granted, if this is Rock Slide, it still KOs, so we just drain that energy, so it is going to be a Rock Slide. They do get an extra fast move there, but now Medicham can safely come in, and we'll just commit to the counter down. They cannot get to 2 Earthquakes in time in order to KO me or force a shield from me, which means they have to swap out into Venusaur, which is what they're going to do right here, and I can safely go for the Psychic, because the Galarian Stunfisk, with the amount of energy it had, would not get to another Earthquake in time, as you guys are going to see. They do get to a charge move right here, but it's not an Earthquake. It is only a Rock Slide, and I saved the shield for the Frenzy Plant, basically, if they did decide to throw it. So that is going to be a good game, very well played. The key with this team is just trying to have a good read on your opponent's team and look to leverage a lot of those neutral matchups and strengths. So in this situation right here, Defense Form Deoxys kind of core breaks Medicham and Bastiodon. But the thing about Bastiodon is it's so tanky. Now my IVs, I still haven't built my XL Bastiodon. I'm still working on that candy. But this was one that was a topped rank 1 way back before level 50 was introduced. Now I decided to swap into Sableye to get ahead on energy, and we see an Umbreon here. So now I'm starting to think, okay, there could be a Greninja in the back. This was a team that I used earlier. It's very, very strong, so I'm going to read to that, or it's going to be something else that is weak to counter in the back. It may not be the Greninja, it might be Dugong. So we're just going to go ahead and go for returns right here, and we can safely survive these 2 foul plays, which is actually really nice because the Umbreon is going to be forced to shield right here because we should be able to get to the return in time, which we do. Perfect. Now they're forced to shield, and this is what's cool about the return Sableye, is the pressure that it can put on an Umbreon. And we completely take switch, and sure enough, there is a Greninja in the back, which means I can come in with Medicham right here and load up on energy. The hardest hitting charge moves left in this game are still on Greninja. It's going to be Hydro Cannon as compared to maybe Thunderbolt or Psycho Boost from Defense Form Deoxys, and Counter is just shredding them apart. I'm going to go ahead, and I believe I decide to double shield here as well. Yeah, it's decided to double shield even though it is Night Slash. And then they swap into Defense Form Deoxys, which is totally fine, because what we're going to do here is a little dip out and soak is what I'm going to call it. The dip and soak, or something like that. I'm sure you guys in the comments can come up with a better name. But effectively, what we're going to do is we soak the energy here on Medicham. We go for Ice Punch to get 2 shields. We come in with Bastiodon in order to then soak the energy from Defense Form Deoxys, because they'll have to throw a charge move in order to take us out, right? So we get the shields, we come in with Bastiodon, and now the Defense Form Deoxys has to throw. If they don't, I will smack down both the Defense Form Deoxys and the Greninja. But because they threw, and they threw the Thunderbolt, my Medicham can now come in, counter down, and then the Greninja coming in is going to get countered down as well, and that's going to be a good game. So that team is still very, very good. It got my Medicham to like 5 HP with the team that I ran earlier this week. All right, good game. We got Greninja here on the lead. Very tough lead. But the thing about Greninja is because it's so glassy, fast moves that do hard neutral damage or obviously super effective damage are very devastating. And Hydro Cannon does not one-shot. If I had an XL Bastiodon, this is going to be a little bit better. But obviously right here, what we're going to look to do is take this into the ones. I don't want this Greninja to dip out of here for free without having to give up a resource. In that case, it is going to be a shield. So we're going to go ahead and go for the Stone Edge. And then we're going to look to swap out into the Medicham to get ahead on energy and get some free counters in. And they bring in a Cresselia. So now we got to start figuring out what could their third Pokemon be. Mind you, they had a Greninja on the lead. We now see a Cresselia. It would not surprise me if there is something else that is strong against fighters and charmers. Now, Cresselia is not strong against charmers. It's more neutral, but it is strong against fighters because of its typing and moveset, right? And with Greninja having extreme weaknesses to Charm, Counter, and Razor Leaf, there's going to be something to that in the back. It could be a poison type user. It could be another psychic type Pokemon. So we're going to go ahead and trust that Sableye might just be able to win this game for us. So we're going to come in with Bastiodon to soak the energy right here. And basically get rid of the Cresselia, as Grass Knot shouldn't be enough to take us out. Yeah, it shouldn't be enough. We should be able to survive, which is totally fine. We're going to go ahead and load up and then look to go for Stone Edge. Now, the reason why I don't come in with Sableye right here is because I'll have to shield a Moonblast. So I basically want the Cresselia to be pressured to throw all its energy. And we come in with the Sableye now, and there's a Shadow Nidoqueen in the back, which makes a lot of sense. Shadow Nidoqueen is strong against fighters, charmers, and Razor Leaf users. So they decided to go for Poison Fang, which allows me to get a free no shield right here, as we do resist it. And now I have so much energy on the Sableye that we're going to be putting a lot of pressure on this Nidoqueen. So they decide to no shield. This allows me to farm down, and now it's going to be Shadow Claw and Foul Play versus Water Shuriken and Night Slash here. And because Sableye is so far ahead on energy, I think we will win this back and forth, because I only need one more fast move, and I believe they need one as well, but Shadow Claw is a bit faster. So we do get it. It's a bit faster on turns than the Water Shuriken. So we're able to get the Foul Play, and that is going to be a good game. Very well played. Pretty cool team right there with Greninja having a Shadow Nidoqueen in the back. That used to be hyper meta back in the day. All right, good game. We got a Frostlass now in the lead. Very, very positive lead, and they swap into a Clefable. And I'm thinking to myself, there's no way this is a Frostlass double fairy team where Bastiodon is literally just going to destroy it. I mean, that's daring on them to go Frostlass double fairy, but some people try to wager, what am I seeing, what am I not seeing, and kind of go all in. If they haven't been seeing Bastiodons, and, you know, this team can perform well against everything else besides the Bastiodon and maybe the Reggie. I mean, Registeel is a better matchup for Frostlass anyways, even Galarian Stunfisk. But in this case, I'm like, they are in a tough position because I can take Clefable down easily. We still have Sableye for Frostlass, and their final Pokemon is actually going to be a Medicham. So I'm going to go ahead and bank a charge move and swap into my own Medicham. And this puts them into a checkmate position. Now, you may be wondering, why didn't I go into Sableye? Well, it's because I know my Sableye can beat their Medicham, right? And I know my Medicham can get a shield with Psychic. And what we can do here is then bring in Bastiodon to the Frostlass. After we're letting this Medicham go down with the Shadow Ball. Boom, see ya. We come in with the Bastiodon, which has a Stone Edge ready to go, which is going to force shield number 2. And then we come in with Sableye to do a cleanup because we know what Pokemon are on the field now. We got rid of the Clefable, and we now know that there is a Medicham and a Frostlass left in the game, which allows us, which is why it's a checkmate situation for me and my opponent. As you can see, this is going to be a good game. They can throw a charge move, but they decide to swap out into Medicham, which is totally fine. I believe I decide to let this Ice Punch go through. Doesn't KO. The only thing I'm worried about is the charge move from Frostlass. So I'm going to go ahead and go for return here because I don't want to have to throw 2 foul plays. I'd rather throw 1 return and Shadow Claw down. And then that is going to be a good game. I have 2 shields against Frostlass, so we're just going to go ahead and fast move down. And that is going to be a good game. Very well played. Obviously, our Bastiodon did incredibly well for this. All right, we got Bastiodon now versus Tapu Fini. This is similar to a Zoomerol. Very tough for the team to potentially deal with. But once again, just because Bastiodon on paper has a bad matchup against Tapu Fini because of like typings doesn't mean that we can't put in some work here with Stone Edge and Smackdown. Now, what's great about this situation is we could potentially get a shield. Knowing how much damage Stone Edge can do, we get a shield right there. So that is already a huge advantage for us. I'm going to go ahead and let them try to commit to the farm down because I'll get to another Stone Edge in time, which means they're forced to throw. Which also means I can shield, since I believe this was CMP tie, to force the second shield of this game, but I don't. I thought I got it right there, but I didn't. So that was a missed time by me. But they do swap in to a double, which allows my Medicham now to come in and fully counter down. Now with a double safe swap, it's going to be no surprise that there's probably something else weak in the back to counter. So we're going to have to pray that it is not something that dominates not dominates, but does better against a Sableye, right? So like a Umbreon, for example, even though we have return. And they come in with the Tapu Fini right away and throw the Surf. And I thought, you know what? I want to maintain the health here because whatever they have in the back is clearly going to be weak to counter, at least from my prediction it will be based on the team dynamics we have seen so far. And it's not. It's a knockdown. So sometimes things happen like this, and then you have to instantly start critically thinking, how can I win this game? And the way I win this game is keeping energy on Medicham and swapping into Bastiodon, hoping to catch the charge move. But now I come in with Sableye in order to force a final shield. Because what this knockdown will have to do is throw 2 charge moves against me in order to take out the Sableye. The first one's going to be Shadow Ball. Not enough damage. I will be able to get to a foul play, but they do throw another charge move. And if this is Shadow Ball again, which I don't think it is, I think it was a bit quick, it's just Sky Attack. That's not enough to KO us, which means they just dumped their energy. They might be somewhat close to another Sky Attack, but what I'm banking on is we get a shield right there. Remember, our Medicham's 1 counter away, so then we're able to take it. So it was a very critical back and forth. I was hard reading, maybe a Galarian Stunfisk in the back, maybe a Registeel back there. But ultimately it wasn't, and you guys got to adjust very quickly, which is why I wanted to show that game, because you may have your prediction of, you know, this is the team, and it's not, and you have to think on your feet very quickly. Okay, good game. We have a Shadow Venusaur now on the lead. Shadow Venusaurs pair so well with Galarian Stunfisk. It's like peanut butter and jelly. It's just what happens, because they are just such a good synergy with each other. So we're going to play to that. I'm going to predict that there's Galarian Stunfisk in the back, and I'm going to play to that because my Bastiodon can just force a shield here early in this game. This is what will happen a lot of times in your matches when you're facing off against Pokemon that are somewhat neutral. If Bastiodon can get a shield without going down and having to give up a shield themselves, it is going to be worth staying in, especially if you're reading something like Galarian Stunfisk in the back. So we're going to shield the Frenzy Plant right here. We're going to commit to the full Shadow Claw farm down, which we do get. Beautiful. Now let's see what they come in with. They come in with a Toxapex. I'm like, well, they are not going to have a good time. And sure enough, they swapped out, and it was a Galarian Stunfisk. So I was kind of confused why they did that, but ultimately it wouldn't matter because we do have a very healthy Medicham and Sableye with tons of energy because of that aggressive farm down from the Venusaur. So now we can safely no-shield the Earthquake as I need my final shield for Sableye. Psychic here is going to be doing a lot of super effective damage. So we're just going to be putting that pressure on, which will also force them to throw Brine early, because I'll get to another Psychic in time. So they do decide to throw, which is fine by me. Sableye can come in and clean this up. I have a shield. Shadow Claw's neutral. We resist poison jabs. It is all good right here. So the Sableye farm down really was the big key to victory for me. And even if they came in with Galarian Stunfisk into Sableye and I swap into Medicham, we still force a shield there with Psychics. Still get the healthy farm down on the Toxapex with Sableye. We still have multiple foul plays on the back end for Galarian Stunfisk. So good games right there. This team over, like, I'm talking long term. It may not be as hyper. I mean, it's hyper meta, let's be honest. But it's not flavor of the month really right now. I think we've seen more of a shift to, like, Alolan Sandslash has been a very pressing favorite. Umbreon has made a strong return. But overall, this team over the years, from Season 1 all the way to Season 15 now, it has been one of the most consistent teams, and gets better if you have, like, beautiful PvPIV, XL, Best Buddy, blah, 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 Pokemon. Mine are not. My Bastiodon is just a lucky trade. I do have a good one with PvPIVs, but I need more XL candy. My Medicham, I just powered up with XL candy so that I can replace it later but still have it perform well for me right now. It's kind of like a cost savings thing for me. But my Sableye is my full-fledged XL maximum dust powered up beast, and I'm very happy with it. It took me a while to get that, but overall it was worth it. So hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you guys haven't given this team a try, please do. And if you don't have these Pokemon on your roster, they should be Pokemon you are looking to add to it over the long run, because they are incredible no matter what season it is. So hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and like always, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.